Okay. Who's got a book? Who wants to publish a book? All right. Who likes to speak? Okay. Yeah, that's actually quite enthusiastic reception. Have you heard the figures about what scares people the most? Snakes, death, my favorite, and public speaking. So the coup de grace would be to speak to a room full of dead snakes. But we're not going to do that. We're going to speak to live people. If you want live people to buy your books, to hear what you have to say, you are an authority. Capital A-U-T-H-O-R. Authority. Because you've written about what you know about, right? They tell you, write what you know about? Well, and those of you who write fiction, you're just imagining that you know what you're writing about because you're making it all up as you go along, right? Right? Yeah. Even with fiction or with nonfiction, you are the authority of what you are writing about. And not everybody's going to want to read, at least not initially, unless they hear it from you that this is something they should buy and that they should read. So that's what we're going to be talking about tonight to help get you going. Who here does have some experience with public speaking? All right, yay, good. So I'm hoping what you will take away tonight includes some tips to improve the skills that you already have. And for those of you who are just starting out and really nervous and shy, like Susan was when she first started, that you'll have tools that you can take with you and things that you can do to get going on that path of effective public speaking. Would you like to tell your life story, Susan?
I'd like to tell it, but nobody wants to hear my whole life story. When Larry said I was complaining because I was shy, that was not fake news. That was absolutely true. In high school, as a sophomore, I had to take speech class. Who has had to take speech class in high school? Was it a good experience or not? Good?
Yep.
Good. Let me tell you a little bit about mine. The teacher's name was Mrs. Ramstack.
Oh my.
Yes, oh my. Close your eyes, if you would, and imagine what you think Mrs. Ramstack looked like.
Ramstack?
Ramstack. You're probably right. She looked like a huge rectangular monolith of flesh, topped off with a bird's nest of brown tinged with gray hair. Her face, and I know this is a cliche, and I apologize in advance, but her face would have cracked and gone all over the place in tiny shards if she had ever smiled. I never saw a smile on that woman's face. It was scary enough in that class to get up before the class. It was terrifying to go up before Mrs. Ramstack. But there was no messing around in her class. Everybody was as terrified of her as I was. I remember one day, as an indicator of how shy I was, walking along the street, and I saw somebody I knew on the same side of the street. I panicked. I froze. Small talk was definitely not my forte. I didn't know what I would say to that person, so I crossed to the other side of the street to avoid having to say anything. Anybody here that can relate to that? Yes. Yes. Now I'm taking improv classes and things like this. It's a long way from where I started out. Gail has a totally different story of beginning her speaking career.
Thank you, Susan. In junior high school, okay, this is when junior high school was 7th grade to 9th grade, not middle school, which, mixes it up. I got to speak to the entire student body in junior high school. And at the time, I had a habit of saying check, like check mark. And I don't remember what I was speaking about, but I threw the word check in, and everybody laughed. And I thought, well, this is kind of cool. I like the sound of laughter, but I don't know why they're laughing exactly. And afterwards, I was called to the principal's office, and they said, what was that word you said? I said, check. Oh, you said check. Okay. They thought I said shit. Which drives home the importance of enunciation when you're speaking. But I loved being up there in front of all those people and being an extrovert. So I am pretty extroverted and do love the privilege of the platform. It is a privilege to stand in front of people and talk to them and share what knowledge you have. And it is a responsibility to also be well-informed and present well. So in our presentation tonight, we are going to talk about examples of public speaking where you could be in a book signing. You could be at a conference and asked to make a presentation about your expertise. I think we can get this out of the way. And meetings, like these kind of meetings. You could be in a media interview. And with each of these successive things, you might even find yourself in an elevator and asked about your book. And that's where we get the name an elevator pitch. What can you say that makes sense about your writing or what you do or your expertise in 25 seconds or less? Whatever it takes to go from the first floor to the 10th floor. That's your elevator pitch. And media interviews, you want to be compelling and succinct. So succinctness and brilliance are some of the keys that we want to focus in on and how you actually do that. So how do you actually do that? The basics, yes?
Are my glasses up there because you're both really fuzzy?
We're both really fuzzy. I don't see any glasses up here.
Okay, sorry.
All right. So, let's start at the very beginning. A very good place to start. You want to organize your speech. Are you going to talk about that?
Yes.
That part is relatively easy. Everybody knows, I think, that a speech has to have a beginning, a middle, and an end.
Hold that mic up.
It's nice if the beginning and the end are somewhat tied together, so it makes a circle, kind of like an arc in writing. That's very nice. It also is a good idea, if you are planning to give a speech, not to throw everything in, because you will lose your audience if you try to say too much. They may even fall asleep. I've done that myself. Fortunately, not when I was speaking. So keep it short and simple. Remember KISS. Keep it stupid. No, keep it simple. I don't like to say stupid. How about Sam? Keep it simple, Sam. That's very, very sweetheart.
Keep it simple, sweetheart.
And one of the things that we often suggest, it has to do with the number 3.
Yes, scientific studies show the human brain cannot hold more than 3 ideas at any one time. Think about any good sermon you've heard by a clergy person. They usually have 3 points or 3 stories or 3 ideas that all weave together to make a concise whole. So if you are speaking about your writing, try and focus on 3 ideas that you can really drill in on that people can take home. Such as, number 1, drop the ums and the ahs. And how do you do that? The ums and the ahs, those filler words that reduce your authority in your audience's eyes. I have heard wonderful lecturers get up in front of hundreds of people and they really know their stuff, but when they deliver it, there's ums and ahs and blah, 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 and it's like nails on a chalkboard, to me anyway. And once you learn about reducing those filler words, you will begin to notice that as well. Another point that you would want to do, notice I'm moving to another spot on the floor when I make another point. Your physical movements when you are speaking also play into the memorability of what you have to say, as well as being amusing, such as standing on one foot to show off your fabulous cowboy boots. And to also use your physicality as part of your presentation. A really good posture is important. Your bearing says a lot about how well you know your stuff and should your audience take it seriously. And the third point, make sure the camera follows you, yes! is have supporting materials for what you are talking about. On the tables, you may notice, I put out postcards for kicking the bucket list, yes, and brochures, which say what you need to know before you go. Neat thing about brochures that might expand on your expertise is a take-home piece that people may or may not, maybe people do recycle them when they get home, but there's information in there about how to reduce funeral costs. And most people, even if they're not planning ahead, would probably say, gee, oh, I need a free cremation for somebody else. How do I do that? Well, it's in that brochure. There's also my bio and contact information and information about services that I provide. So one other way of being an effective speaker is to have those kind of take-home items. And one bonus tip, which wrecks the rule of 3, is have a way of keeping in touch with your audiences after you are done speaking to them. So you may see also on this table a little raffle prize giveaway form, which I hope you will fill out, and I will gather up toward the end of the talk, because you're gonna have a chance to win the 4 DVD set of my TV interview series, A Good Goodbye, Funeral Planning for Those Who Don't Plan to Die. So you don't have to read the book, you can watch the TV series and get almost as much information. But this all illustrates the idea for your own marketing purposes of being able to keep in touch with the people that you have spoken to, as well as build your email list. So when your next book comes out, you can let all those people know, we have a new book out. Wouldn't you like to come hear me and meet with me and celebrate at the book launch party, etc., etc. So that's one other way of building up your writing business with additional materials.
There's another important part that it is always wise to incorporate in your speeches that Gail sort of alluded to, and she is a master at doing this, and this is storytelling. People want to hear your story. They like listening to people's stories. It's fun. Don't you like to listen to other people's stories? You compare yourself to them, negatively or positively. Hopefully, positively.
I'm going to remember Mrs. Ramstad.
You will remember Mrs. Ramstad, and you will be able to visualize her. And she might come at you in a nightmare, but I hope not. I have put that pretty much behind me. Other things, other features to watch for. Make eye contact with a few members of your audience. Preferably not the ones who are growling at you or scowling or sleeping, but people who look genuinely interested. This definitely helps your credibility. It helps the way people feel like interacting with you. People like listening to somebody who is paying attention to them. One thing I want to mention, because it's something that I do not do well, and I'm always very aware of that. Visual aids, especially PowerPoint slides. Does anybody have issues with PowerPoint slides? Yeah. I am a mess when I use PowerPoint because I do all the things that you shouldn't do. I try to put an encyclopedia of knowledge on each slide instead of just limiting the amount of material on each slide. My slides are usually dull. I had to do a series of PowerPoint slides for my mold book because it is also online. It's an online course. And for that, I had to do about a zillion PowerPoint slides. And I hate to admit that I wrote them because, as I say, they're awful. They do all the things you should not do in PowerPoint slides. But I did them. Now I know better. If I ever have to rewrite that class, I'm not sure what I will do because I still have to get that information across, but it's going to have to be another way.
I have another take on PowerPoint slides.
Good.
You may not realize that PowerPoint allows you to put videos into a slide. And then when you're going through your PowerPoints, you can play a video, a scene from a movie or a TV series, a commercial, something from YouTube. Now, ideally, one would have a license to use film clips in your talks, to do it legally. However, there's so much stuff out there on YouTube that you can download for free that you could then format to put into your PowerPoint slides. You can pretty much get away with doing that. In that case, they've made the PowerPoint program, and by the way, I just got a new Mac laptop, or desktop computer, which has pages. I hate pages. I hate it. I hate it. The world works on Word. Then you're talking about writing. Somebody sent me a page document before I got this new computer, and I was like, I have no idea what to do with this. I can't open it. So be aware that if you are sending people documents, that they'll be able to open them. That being said, when you have a PowerPoint program, if you look across the top, if you're putting a PowerPoint together, there are little icons for inserting music or film, and that's where you would put those film files. Just make sure that when you go someplace to actually plug that PowerPoint in and project it, that you're using either your own laptop that you know for sure will run the video, or you may find yourself on a computer that doesn't run videos, and I have run into that before. You need to be able to change gears and either describe the scene and its lesson, or just skip it altogether.
Yeah.
And yes. What?
Just a hip and handy tip.
Yes. Here,
When you make your presentation in PowerPoint, you have a folder, and make sure that folder has the PowerPoint in it, and all the audios go in the same folder. And the videos in the same folder, and then if it's all in the same folder, your presentation will grab them. And so take the whole folder with you, not just the PowerPoint.
Yes. Important lesson. Yes.
What are the best methods for getting trained in public speaking? You may have heard about Dale Carnegie and the Dale Carnegie course. I took that course, Randy and I both took that course in 1996. This is what I ended up with. It is a good course, but it taught me very little about actually public speaking. What it is very good at is helping you allay some of your fears. It helps you get comfortable with other people. It is based predominantly on Dale Carnegie's books, How to Win Friends and Influence People. I think everybody knows about that. How to Stop Worrying and Start Living. And The Quick and Easy Way to Effective Speaking. It is also based, or at least at the time, it was based on a little bitty booklet on remembering names. This is a method that doesn't work for me. I've tried it a couple times. It does work for some people. It might work for you. You might be interested in the Dale Carnegie class, but I wouldn't count on it very much for a lot of help with public speaking. When we took the class, it was a 13-week class. The first session was the introduction. It was a little shorter. Now they offer it free. Then there were 12 other weeks, one session a week. Each of us got 2 minutes of speaking time per week. That's not very much. I went online. There is a Dale Carnegie office here in Albuquerque. And they do offer this free introduction to this big class. But you have to register and apparently go to the free session to find out any more about the class itself. And I tried because I wanted to know how much it cost. Reasonable, yes? Yeah. They also have some online sessions. Some of those sessions were things that we studied, one of those sessions per week. Those modules are available at $349 per module. Yeah. So they do not make available the price of their whole class. I suspect there's a good reason for that. They want you to feel trapped on that free class. Oh, look what we're giving you. All you have to do is sign up for the whole class for umpteen zillion dollars. Anyway, Dale Carnegie is a good class, but more in attitude training, more in overcoming fear, more in winning friends and influencing people than in public speaking. Something that both Gail and I have derived a lot more satisfaction from is Toastmasters. Toastmasters, unlike Dale Carnegie, is available everywhere. I don't know how many Toastmasters clubs there are in Albuquerque. I checked it a number of years ago and there are 23. So there's a club virtually any time, any day, depending on what works for you. When you sign up for Toastmasters, they send you a couple of manuals. The first one is the Competent Communicator Manual. Yay! This is what's behind door one. In the Competent Communicator Manual, there are instructions for giving 10 speeches. The first one is the only one where they tell you what to talk about. They assume you're nervous. Usually a good assumption. That first speech is an icebreaker, where you tell your fellow members of the club about you. And you have 4 to 6 minutes in which to do it. The other speeches in the manual work on different aspects of speaking, like getting to the point, organizing your speech, using gestures, using your voice, using words. The last 2 speeches, one of them is inspire your audience and the other one is persuade your audience. You don't stop once you've finished one of the CC manuals. You can go 2 ways or both ways at the same time. There are 17 advanced manuals. One of the most fun ones is storytelling. I imagine a lot of you would really enjoy that storytelling manual. There's one, humorously speaking. There's one that I absolutely hated. Gail would love it if she hasn't already taken it, and that's speaking on TV. See, you would like that. You would dig that. It's a very, very good way to go. They also send you a leadership manual. If I said anything about the leadership manual, it would be negative, so I'm not going to. I hate that manual. It takes years to get through it. The important part of learning to speak is practice. Do it over and over and over again, and I see some nods. Because thinking about it, learning about it isn't enough. You have to do it. And the more you do it, the more comfortable you feel. Isn't that right?
Absolutely. And we didn't mention this, but we are both members of the Albuquerque Challenge Toastmasters Club. And I will tell you a story about SouthWest writers and Albuquerque Challenge Toastmasters. We used to have a member here, Gregory Lay, and it must be at least 5 years ago when we had a Christmas party and there was some music and Gregory, he was just boogieing and he grabbed me and we had a really fun dance and it was really swell and he said, Gail, you should come to Albuquerque Challenge Toastmasters. You get out there and speak about your book. I was like, really? Okay. So I got thrown into Toastmasters with no previous experience, Albuquerque Challenge is called an advanced club because we don't follow all the Toastmaster rules. Because has anybody been to a Toastmasters meeting? Okay, just a few of you. Yes, so Toastmasters has these things like the word of the day.
Grammarian.
And the grammarian and table topics. Now on Albuquerque Challenge, we don't really do that stuff. We are focused on helping people be the best speakers that they can be. And we are gentle with newbies to the speaking field. However, we do not do the table topics like other people do table topics. Our table topics are everybody kind of speaks off the cuff in providing a really good evaluation about your speaking and whatever speech you have just given. Anything else you want to
Your flyer.
found about that? My flyer. Oh, we have flyers on the tables. We are having an open house for Albuquerque Challenge on Saturday, September 30th from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. So you can come and have a little experience with Albuquerque Challenge. And by the way, so I did get thrown into this advanced club, and I've been there for 5 years. I've become a much better speaker as a result of that. And I would encourage you to come and check it out if you would like to see if this approach can help you to build up your speaking skills.
I'd like to say a little more about the meeting on September 30th.
Yes.
The first part of the meeting is going to be our standard meeting. There'll be 1 or 2 speakers and evaluators and so forth. The second hour, Randy and I are going to be doing our thing. We are going to be giving a session on improv. We are both highly addicted to improvisation, which is a long way to go from somebody who is absolutely terrified of public speaking when she started out, like me. We're going to start this session in a way we've never started before. We have asked some of our improviser friends to come and start out our hour session with a 15-minute improv show. Then Randy and I will talk a little bit about some of the very basic, important principles of improv. And we will illustrate that by using our backup improvisers. We will then allow people to try it in the last 20 minutes or so. So it should be a lot of fun, plus giving you a feeling of the flavor of our club. There are a lot of clubs in Albuquerque, but the important thing is that you, if you are interested, you find the one that fits you. And we are hoping that we are that club that fits you. Are there any questions?
So I do want to talk about media interviews.
Oh, cool.
So there's a gal here named Claire, who I spoke to earlier in the evening. And one of the things that we talked about were media interviews. Media interviews are awesome ways to promote your writing because you are reaching untold thousands of people, depending on the media outlet that you're speaking on, about your books, your writing. And if you're doing a radio interview or a TV interview, a really helpful thing that you can do is provide a list of questions to the host who's going to be interviewing you, or to the producer who's setting up this interview. This benefits the media outlet because they don't have to actually read your book and figure out what to ask you about it, but you also know the answers to the questions because you provided them. So it makes you look good, and you can build up your confidence going into a media interview, having already provided the questions.
Another advantage.
Another advantage.
Another advantage for doing this is you probably have some idea as to how long each question and answer will take, which helps them enormously in programming.
Yes. I would like to gather up our raffle prize drawing if anybody wants to win a copy of the 4 DVD set of A Good Goodbye. So questions while we're doing